Welcome to uARFIDwhatueat, a channel where we deal with some of the issues that somebody with avoidant restrictive food intake disorder deals with on a daily basis. My name is Chris. Today we're going to be trying out a food, and that food is a tomato. We're eating tomatoes, we're eating tomatoes. Tomato. So my experience of tomatoes is pretty much limited to ketchup, I think. I guess tomato sauces as well for like pastas, things like that, but I don't tend to be a huge fan of that usually. But for the tomato itself, I don't think I've ever actually just had a tomato. And I think part of that is because my experience with tomato sauce has informed me that tomatoes are full of tiny little seeds. And they just look kind of gross in my experience when I've seen them on other people's meals. Like I know even before I chop this tomato up, I know that the middle is going to be this weird gelatinous seed concoction, and I'm very, very unexcited about that. Changes in textures and mouthfeel can be a serious problem for me, and I think a tomato is like a prime example of how that's going to come into effect. Now, I know people don't generally eat these just raw like this as well, but on the other hand, I have seen people do it before. I remember I worked at a factory years ago, and there was this lady there who just, on her lunch break, just eat a tomato just straight up every time, and I was always fascinated by it. So, you know what, we're just going to give it a shot and see if I can't connect with that lady. Appearance-wise on the outside, it's actually not too bad. Now, there's a couple of little itty-bitty dents here and stuff, but nothing severe. The color's pretty consistent, slight variation, especially when you get to the bottom, it gets kind of yellow, but nothing too serious. Actually reminds me, appearance-wise, a lot of the red pepper, which I tried some episodes ago. And I like the color, like that bright redness. I don't know, for some reason that screams tasty to me. That little green part on the top where it would have had the stem, not the best, but I'm not going to be eating that part, so that's okay. Yeah, you can see it up close. Pretty harmless looking, right? Nothing too crazy here. At least on the outside. The inside, on the other hand, let's take a look. How do you chop tomato? Do I cut it like this way? Or do I cut it down the middle like that? I think it's like this. Yeah, it's like a snowflake in like some horror movie. Honestly, like this is so gross looking. Yeah, it's dripping out juice now. Oh no. Gross. I can see the seeds. There's pockets of juice. Big pockets of juice. And there's just like white streaks running through the middle here. As you can see up close, yeah, there's so much going on here, and I just hate the look of that. That's so intimidating to me. You got these weird kind of like extensions coming from the middle part there. That's really gross. You got the seeds. Then you've got these just pits of like slimy juice or something. Absolutely hideous. That's very intimidating. Smell-wise on the outside, I actually do have quite a bit of a smell on the outside even. Not a lot of flavor in that smell. It just smells like grass. Like, yeah. Smell on the inside. It's just the same smell but amplified. Not a particularly exciting smell. Texture-wise on the outside, it feels fine. It's very smooth. That's pretty harmless actually. But that inside texture, like let's just... Oh no, it's just so wet. The actual flesh part of the tomato is pretty tough, actually, it feels like. Tougher than I expected, to be honest. I thought this would be squishier. And the seeds are gross. The sliminess is so gross. This thing is just pouring out slime as I'm touching it. So yucky. Now, I think people usually enjoy tomatoes, like, sliced. So let's cut a little slice up right here. I'm gonna cut a super thin slice. Make this as easy on myself as possible. Oh, it's so gross looking. Look at that. Can't hold it here long because it's really drippy and kind of... Oh no, it's dripping as I'm touching. Oh no, I'll just clean that up. But that's so gross. Look at it. At least it's nice and see-through. It kind of has this like see-through membrane quality. So it should be, you know, not too hard to fight when I'm eating it. It should chew easy enough, but the actual appearance-wise, that looks like a weird science experiment. That is so nasty looking to me. The complete and utter lack of consistency in the texture and appearance of this is so nasty. As I've stated many times in these videos, I prefer something that has a very consistent, predictable texture and taste right through. So for example, if I was to like cut off this edge part and chew on that, that is probably, not really okay actually, but it's better than this. Whereas if I was just to chew directly into this whole thing and take a bite, I'm getting seeds and like membrane and flesh, and it's just, how is it? Does it fight? Okay, breaks up pretty easily. Yeah, it just smells like grass or something. That's not a particularly appealing smell, I have to say. You know, break a piece off here. I'm gonna start with this edge here, because I think trying to just chew all of that with the seeds and everything is going to be a little too much to start. Again, this reminds me a lot of the red pepper, but the difference is by now the red pepper was hitting me with a delightful, just aromatic adventure kind of. It was exciting. It smelled really good at least. This doesn't. It just smells wet and grassy. It's gross. But that said, there's only one way to find out, so let's try chewing a piece of this edge here. Tomato. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Chew on it, let it sit. Oh gosh. Oh. No siree. No. That was gross. It like had a bitter quality to it. That was shocking. I don't know. The smell was pretty mild. Not a good smell, but a very mild smell. You know, imagine my surprise when I take a bite into that, and the flavor is actually quite potent, and not in a good way. Ugh. Like this wet bitterness. The skin kind of reminded me of like an apple, eating that edge there. But the actual flesh and taste to it, ugh, my goodness, that was not good. Great. Okay, so let's take a second bite of that part. Yeah. Mouthfeel's not good either. Kind of tough to chew on, actually. Like, it's squishy and like easy, but it doesn't separate easy as you're chewing it. So you're kind of chewing into this like just single piece that almost breaks apart, but it doesn't. So you're left just chewing on this gross gelatinous kind of thing. It's yucky. Not appealing mouthfeel, not appealing flavor. So far, not so good. I'm getting a touch emotional here looking at that middle part. That is really scary. I don't know. That might be a bridge too far for me. Dripping. So gross. There's all this little goo and stuff. Just the seeds. I feel like I'm looking at the inside of a cell in like a biology class. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm actually like scared, like physically scared. This is not good. Okay, tomato. Bite 3, all of it. Here we go. Oh, it looks so gross. Okay, here we go, actually. All right. Whoa. Oh. No. No. I don't know if this is the worst, but this is right there as far as one of my worst exposures. This is really gross. The taste is like hanging around too. That difficult mouthfeel did not lend itself to an easy experience here. You can see the like jelly kind of parts with the seeds in it. Oh my goodness, was that a really, really nasty mouthfeel. Oh. Ugh. No. I was actually gonna try a bit of salt on it, but that was such a nasty, nasty thing that I don't even want another part of it. I'm done with this. I'm tapping out. That's it. So yeah, overall thoughts. Tomato. Appearance-wise, fine on the outside. On the inside, like a house of horrors. There's so much stuff happening here. For someone who can get overwhelmed easily, as far as like even the visual part of food, that is a visual nightmare for me. That is so nasty. There's so many little things happening here. There's dark pits. There's weird lines veining out from the middle parts, seeds, all that stuff. Gross. Smell-wise, surprisingly harmless actually, all things considered. Not much of a smell going on there. On the outside, kind of just mildly grassy, and on the inside, more just kind of wet grassy. Texture-wise, again, fine on the outside, pretty nice. On the inside, this is all tougher than you'd expect. So much stuff going on, very gelatinous, very seedy. Taste-wise, that was an absolute nightmare, actually. I kind of expected it would be similar in flavor to the way it smelled, which was not good, but not too difficult. Very mild, very grassy, very planty. But the actual taste was, wow, it was really overpowering. It was very bitter. And since it's so wet, you can't really escape that taste. So that was just not good. And the mouthfeel was, I don't know if it was worse or about the same as the taste, but they both weren't good, I'll tell you. The mouthfeel was just really not good. Gelatinous and wet and seedy. Difficult to chew, more than I kind of thought it would be. So yeah, tomatoes, that wasn't good. I didn't like it. One of my worst exposures to date. Maybe I'll have to try it on like a slice on a sandwich or something, but I feel like that would just make the sandwich wet and gross, and like, I don't know, that's not appealing at all to me. I hate wetness in food. And tomatoes seem so tied to wetness. Maybe I'll have to try them dried or something, those like sun-dried tomatoes or whatever. Maybe I'll have to give that a shot, but the tomato as is, gross, yucky, get it out of here. I'm putting it in a bad place. It's not even allowed to sit on the table with me. Disgusting. Anyways, this is uARFIDwhatueat. My name's Chris. We're trying out tomatoes today to poor results. To very poor results. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate your time. Hopefully next time when I'm trying something out, it won't be so hideous. But until then, thanks again, and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.